All right, so let's talk about some massive breaking news. And this is a trend that's indicative of a future movement or a current movement that's happening for which God is waking people up. And so I'm going to clarify a lot of things because people, they're going to get the wrong idea because of what the news says, because of certain terms like far right, and they're going to confound and confuse things because they don't have a firm understanding first and foremost of who God is and what the Bible is. And so if this is you where you don't know God, you don't know Christ, you don't know godly biblical values, then this is going to be very confusing for you because you're going to listen to the ways of the world. You're going to listen to other people's opinions. You're going to read a couple of news articles and you think you know something about something, but you really don't. And so the first major question that I want to ask you, a lot of you, is that do you understand these principles? Because if you don't have that perspective, then everything else is going to sound like a loss. It's going to be a backtracking from society. You're going to have all these negative opinions because of what the world is saying. And so this is why I want to give this disclaimer, because I'm saying this news in a celebratory manner, but with some caveats, because there are people that misrepresent not only biblical values, but right policies, conservative policies, because they may not even know God and they're misrepresenting it, but they're for those people. They may even be part of a political party or a group that is not good, right? But the same values they believe in. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that Christians and godly people are bad because they're associated with these values. So that's the first thing I want to say, because everybody thinks that, or not everybody, a lot of people associate certain movements like Nazism and various things to this quote unquote far right. But you got to remember that what was far right was actually center. Far right now was actually center or right center even 10, 20, 30 years ago. And so this is a matter of perspective, because if I told you, do you agree with homosexuality? Do you agree that there is only two genders and there's not more than two? Do you agree that people have a choice in, or don't have a choice in saying that this is my gender, or I want to change genders, and all this other ridiculous talk, abortion and many things? And you would say that you're an extremist, you're crazy. But really 20, 30 years ago, or even back in the biblical times, that was a norm, because that is what godly values are. And so this is why a lot of people will be confused, upset right away. And I've been going through some social media, a lot of things. And the news I want to say is that the right, the far right, if the media wants to call it that, they are winning seats. And this is breaking news. And as of today, June 10th, you have countries like France, Germany, the Netherlands, Spain, Italy, Austria, Belgium, Greece, Romania, Czech, Hungary, Turkey, Slovenia, Lithuania, Malta, many other countries. I'm missing so many countries. They're all doing these elections, and France soon will have a snap election because Macron called for it because he's panicking, risking even losing more seats. But basically, some of these political parties, the Identity and Democracy Party, the European Conservatives and Reformists, they're taking seats left and right in these new elections from the Green, the center, the left. And they're losing seats left and right because people are waking up in droves to the idea that this immigration stuff, open borders, is not good. People are getting murdered, they're getting raped, there are women, their kids are all getting kidnapped and raped, and you have all this crazy stuff, and they don't want this circus act of what is leftist policy, which has failed them for many years. And so I'm saying this not from a like, oh, I want to support this guy or that guy, and I love, because I don't know who these guys are. But what I'm saying is that people are waking up and they do not want to associate or have these principles within their own borders, because a lot of bad things have happened, especially with the Islam, Muslim assimilation and just people taking over certain things. And again, I'm not trying to sound bad. I'm not sounding a religious, racist type stuff. I'm not saying those things. I'm saying that this is what the people are thinking. These are what people are waking up to, and they're seeing it. And there's other people that they're not awake. They don't know godly values. And so their frame of mind, their reference point is not from that perspective. It's not from the right perspective. And by right, I mean not only correct, but also leaning right, conservative, whatever you want to call it. The media calls it the far right. And they're painting them as these fascist, crazy, people. But really, it's just simple principles. It's saying that, no, we don't agree. God created a man, a woman, and they are to be married together. And you don't want all this debauchery, this sexual immorality and everything that the Bible talks about. This is what the Bible talks about. And so this is why people are waking up. Now, I'm saying this not only in excitement and celebratory manner, but as a warning, because people are going to now associate or disassociate themselves with them, and they're going to say all kinds of things. They're going to say all kinds of, names, and they're going to paint them in a certain light. But what's more important is, who are you between you and the Lord? And how is it that you are reacting in your society by voting, by taking care of your kids, the actions you have, speaking up in council meetings, in education board meetings, whatever it is? God, he's working right now. He's turning nations around, and you're seeing clear signs of this. This is not some conspiracy. It's not some crazy stuff. You can research this yourself and see that people, and they're going to try to write it off as something else. Like, all these guys are, the reason they're voting this way is because of blah, blah, blah. And there may even be people saying that, this is all, stolen election and crazy stuff like that. They're going to say stuff like that. But the fact remains that people are leaning and voting right. And people on the left, demonic, even people, are having a panic attack. They're manifesting demonically. And I even read a lot of comments, a lot of TikToks, a lot of Twitter posts, a lot of YouTube videos are coming up right now from yesterday, today, and onwards, talking about this. And they're manifesting like crazy. And so I'm smiling because part of me says, yes, let's keep going, but not at the expense of trying to diminish or paint the Christian movement in a bad way. Because yes, with Christianity, with biblical values, you will have bad people that will try to assert themselves and be part of this. And because they look at this person more heavily, whether they are a leader or an influencer, whatever it is, or somebody that just makes the news, they're going to associate the right movement or the conservative movement with bad people. And so this is not what we want. This is the same has happened with the Christian movement over decades, because anybody that associates with religion or Jesus, you are a crazy fanatic, and they're going to point fingers at you. They're going to shake their head at you. But really, if you know the Bible, if you know biblical values, if you have a clear, rational point of view on how to look at things and have a clean biblical outlook, then that's not going to matter for you, because God, he knows what's up. You know his perspective. You are in obedience to him. And if you are in right standing with those values and you understand his heart, you understand his perspective, that's all that matters. And you don't have to worry about other people shaking you off and demeaning you in some way, writing you off, because God, he's working. So this is great news right now. We'll see how things go. This is not a super majority, or this is not rather I think there's like 170 seats across, or 720 seats across all of the EU, and they're not taking the majority yet, but they're moving heavily. It's a shock factor for sure, because all of the news outlets that you're reading on, and I'm saying even the mainstream media news, they're not going to get everything right, because of course they're going to have their spin on it, but they're even reporting that this is crazy because all these people are voting, and this is happening in real time right now. People in these countries are waking up in droves, and not only those that are on the right, but those that are on the left, and saying, what's going on? This is crazy. They're manifesting. They're saying their demonic ways, and they're getting what's coming for them. So love you guys. Be encouraged. It's a great time to be alive. But again, be very cautious how you project, the optics behind it, and what you say, because you could trigger people. You want to do it in love and in grace and mercy. But at the same time, you want to stand on business. You want to stand on the fact that you want to have good policy. You don't want to just have open borders. You don't want to just have people doing whatever they want, debauchery, idolization, all this witchcraft, all these crazy things, because we need to put an end to it in some sense, however that is. And again, I'm not calling for any crazy, violent, whatever. I'm saying if it's policy, let's ban it, because God wants to tear down the modern day astral poles. He wants to tear down the statues of Baal in this day, and he will then pave the way for much blessing, for much reward, reaping what we sow in this hour, in this season. So love you guys. Talk to you guys very soon.